Right, welcome to episode 2 here in Gonarezhou, the place of elephants in Zimbabwe. In the first episode, we drove from Johannesburg to Ntakeni through Mozambique to Gorwe Pan. We spent nights at Director's Camp, at Chilojo, Chinguli, and Ryan and I made it to Chipinda Pools. But in this episode, Ryan and I are driving from Chipinda Pools. We're staying 2 nights at the magnificent Chilojo campsite number 2 underneath the cliffs. We're going to Pokwe, Lisoda, Chinguli, and then heading back into South Africa to Mapungubwe. Join us on this awesome adventure. This is adventure. We don't even know where we are. It's all gone wrong here immediately. I am in Zimbabwe.
This series of videos is brought to you by Sereth Logistics and Jim Green Footwear in association with these legendary companies and my amazing Patreons.
Right, so leaving Chipinda Pools campsite. Fantastic stay to catch up, but yeah, we're gonna head to Pokware today. First, we're gonna go to the Chipinda Pools gate to fill up on fuel and get some wood, and then we're in the park again, heading past Chilojo Cliffs to Pokware, and then Mapungubwe, then Lisoda, and finally Chinguli for 1 night. So 7 nights left in Gonarezhou. Let's make the most of it. I'm excited, and yeah, let's see what it holds for us.
Chipinda Pools has been amazing, with fantastic ablutions and river views. It's a campsite I would highly recommend.
Yeah, we're departing with more of our money here at the fuel station at Chipinda Pools. It's really lekker that they have a fuel station here at the Chipinda gate, and filling up for another 7 days in Gonarezhou. Right, so the plans have changed again, and there's more amazing stuff happening. So remember we said that they'd closed the Chilojo 1 and Chilojo 2 campsites. Apparently the wind comes off those cliffs and just blows you away. So, but they've given Ryan and I permission as the final people to stay at those campsites before they maybe relocate them to a less windy spot. I've been looking forward to staying at those Chilojo campsites ever since I've heard and seen about Gonarezhou. So yeah, this is exciting. We're gonna stay there with the cliffs. Also, not such a long drive today then. Just happy days, man. I'm excited, and they're making a real plan for us. Such lovely people, and the whole team of Gonarezhou is Simon, Callum, Juliana, everyone, just fantastic people. So yeah, another exciting day ahead.
It's time to climb the escarpment and try a new road to the Chilojo Cliffs.
How incredible is this view? One of the best in Africa.
With the broken bridge in the distance and the temperature soaring above 40 degrees Celsius, we are trying a different crossing of the Runde River.
Right, so we are on our way to the Nkwangolotilo Causeway. You cross this Runde River like we've already shown at many places. And I've got a kudu right in front of me. How lekker is that? And we've done quite a few of the water ones where you cross through the water, but this one is actually a concrete bridge. I must just say, I'm loving Zimbabwe and Gonarezhou. It has got to be one of the most scenic parks I've ever visited. It is absolutely spectacular.
The Nkwangolotilo Causeway was constructed in 2019. The structure connects the north of Gonarezhou National Park to the south, giving ease of access over the Runde River throughout the year. What a privilege it is to drive over this amazing structure, and the views are just endless. It's amazing how short the days are with incredible sights and scenes like this, and time is running out, so we head towards the Chilojo Cliffs.
So we're driving on a road now that's not the main road to the sort of Chinguli campsite where we stayed a while ago, and from Chinguli it's not far to Chilojo. I'm not sure what road it is, but it doesn't look like it's been driven in a very long time, and it is absolutely stunning. The bush is very thick, but you've got these huge mapani trees, and yeah, it's a proper test for the suspension. And I must just say, this new Tough Dog suspension with the airbags at the back, wow, the Ralphs and the airbags, brilliant combination. It's super comfortable, doesn't even feel like I'm hitting anything, any rocks, any sticks. It's like proper, yeah, it feels like a proper air suspension. So yeah, super happy. But moving between the Mapanis and these huge mountains on the right, on the way to Chilojo.
some steep riverbed crossings to keep the adventure interesting.
A Zambezi beer on the Zambezi River. I mean the Runde River. Sorry for disturbing the peace with my Land Cruiser. The batteries are so flat, I obviously need to just run it all the time. But yeah, we've stopped here. That road, the last section, maybe the last 10 kilometers, looks like it hasn't been driven in like 2-3 months. Old elephant feces and sticks and everything in the road, and very angry elephants. We really had to push through. I hope the bush larper's okay. Ryan was a legend in front saying elephant left, elephant right. We made a big push and we're hungry, so we made it to close to the Chilojo Cliffs. We're at Fisherman's Causeway again, making some lekker chicken wraps, so with a Zambezi beer. Cheers.
We cross Fisherman's Causeway again, with a dream of mine closing in. I've dreamt about camping at the Chilojo Cliffs for years, and it was about to come true.
We're going to try go to number 2, so go, start a new route, because I was navigating to the picnic site, and Tracks for Africa sorted it out, 6.9 kilometers.
It's a special feeling approaching these cliffs, and the camera will just never do the size of them justice.
Good. Hey. Probably the most beautiful campsite I've ever stayed in terms of scenery. Wow, wow, wow. Have a look at this. This is amazing. Amazing. Chilojo Cliffs in front of us. For those 1 or 2 night stops, I don't necessarily put out the big sea gear unless we're base camping for like at least 3 nights. I put out the small 1.5 by 1.5 meter sea gear, sand-free ground sheet, either at the back door here, so when I get into the caravan don't have anything on the shoes or the feet, or I put it underneath my shower cubicle when I'm showering. So shower cubicle is just at the back of the lapa there, so you can just move it in between, no stress.
As the sun begins to set, we can feel the wind pick up, but even a gale force wind couldn't ruin this amazing campsite.
Thanks, buddy. The wind is pumping off the Chilojo Cliffs, so we just huddled in here in the little fort that we've created, also because it's very wild. So and we've got a lot of light around, but elephants are moving around, lions are moving around, hyenas are moving around, so we're in this safe little spot cooking up some burger patties for tonight, and I reckon we're going to call it early night. It was a busy day, and tomorrow's going to be another busy day, so yeah, just some burger patties, then bedtime.
Morning.
Morning.
How you doing?
Yes, good, and you, Bruce?
You look like $1 million.
Feel like $1 million.
The morning chorus at Chilojo is special. What a peaceful and tranquil scene. The Chilojo Cliffs that lie at the heart of the Gonarezhou National Park stand at more than 180 meters high and run for almost 20 kilometers along the south bank of the Runde River. Formed over millions of years of erosion from the Malvernia beds above, these sandstone cliffs form the perfect backdrop for the wilderness below and an adventure into Gonarezhou. They talk of the changing phases of the Chilojo Cliffs, with the morning and evening light from the river, but some say the view from the top is just the best. This is a bucket list item when traveling or overlanding throughout Africa. I can only urge you to come and see this in real life. It's the only way to do it justice. I don't want to keep going on about it, but there isn't a camera lens wide enough to capture the beauty of this place. The only way is to come and camp here yourself. It's just one incredible scene after another out here.
Ryan, what's
Yo.
happening? Time to shower?
Yeah, time to shower. We've got to move its LC100. Unfortunately, the battery is a bit pop, just because it's sending everything to the back batteries. So
We can jump start it, obviously.
we can jump start it, but we also want to save the charge on the jump starter. So our biggest thing right now is let's push this thing a little bit backwards, Ed, so you can set up your shower cubicle, and let's get that shower going. Be safe there. Okay. Almost further than as we go. So with the shower cubicles there. Right, the lock. Yeah, you did well.
With the temperature again rising above the 40 degrees Celsius mark, the Milwaukee fans are saving us from the heat and from the Mapani flies.
Now, the legend, Ryan from 4x4 Ventures, helped me film this walk around. So I reckon 2 Zambezi beers are in order. Legend, thank you so much, brother. Thanks for helping me, bro.
I learned so much about the 100 series. If I had a 100 series, Ed's the guy you gotta come to, man. He knows what he's talking about. And cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my man. That's lekker.
Lekker, lekker.
And what a view. Right, so reality is here at Chilojo campsite. Mapani flies are unbelievable, but I've just had an unbelievable shower with the geyser of the bush larper. And now I want to answer a question that a lot of you guys have got. What footwear do I wear around the campsite? Now, because of the heat during the day, we've been wearing flip-flops or pluckies. Bad idea. We've been wearing them because it's been so hot, but there's a lot of scorpions, spiders, and a lot of flippin' paper thorns in this campsite. After the shower, it's time to put on some proper footwear. So here I've got the Jim Green African Ranger boots. I'm mixed between these and the Jim Green Fallies. Now, why Jim Green? Well, they sent me their Fallies 2 years ago, and I've used quite a few brands of Fallies, and they last about doing this sort of overland adventure, plus actually wearing them a lot in town. They last about maybe a year at a push. Jim Greens, the 2 years, and they're still amazing. The soles are amazing, the comfort's amazing. Then they sent these African Ranger boots around a year ago. Used them for about a year now, like I said, and also amazing. They offer great ankle support, and we'll be ready for the evening. Scorpions, spiders, whatever comes through, yeah, we'll be fine. And yeah, they're comfortable. They're really comfortable. The soles and the whole ankle protection and stuff, when you're walking down these banks to get the shots of the elephants and the Chilojo Cliffs and stuff, yeah, ankle support is a good thing. You don't want to twist your ankle up here and ruin the trip. So we're super chilled here. Chilojo 2, sun's going down behind us. We've got a Zambezi beer protecting it from the Mapani flies, and I'm looking at a scene that has cemented Chilojo 2 as the best campsite I have ever stayed in. I'm looking at a herd of 20 elephant. We had a herd of 100 here earlier, but they are right in front of the Chilojo Cliffs with the sun going down, making the cliffs red. And it's not just the cliffs. You've got this river bank here, which is like a mini Chilojo Cliffs. And yeah, there's no campsite like this one, or actually campsites like any of them in Gonarezhou, and especially like Directors, any of them near the Chilojo Cliffs. They are simply spectacular. Mapani flies, I've got one, something you have to deal with, but this is an emotional scene in front of me here, and something that all bush lovers and people passionate and that have the fizz for the African bush that we do will appreciate. And I appreciate it times a million.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but he just said Gonarezhou Chilojo campsite number 2 is the best campsite he's ever stayed at. Let's just hear that one more time. Eddie, one more time, bro.
Chilojo number 2, and I've stayed in many campsites, is the best visually and emotionally the best campsite I've ever stayed in. I mean, look at that. It is just unbelievable. Words cannot describe what we've got in front of us, and only those people that have stayed here and perhaps had a sighting like this with the cliffs. And it's not guaranteed. Every day in the African bush is different, and that's what's lovely. You know, some people will come here and say we didn't see anything at Chilojo 2, but some people would have been as fortunate as Ryan and I are and have elephants right in front of that backdrop that is truly mind-blowing.
With over 500 gigs of footage shot in one day here at Chilojo, it's time to offload onto the lacy ruggeds once again.
One of those campsites you just never want to leave. We're going to Pokwe today, which will be really lekker, but it's just, look at this. Words don't put it into perspective. And yeah, might not ever be able to camp here again. Wind was hectic last night, but yeah, I'll never forget this campsite. Most beautiful campsite I've ever stayed in. Simple as that. What a privilege. One of those once in a lifetimes, and over like that, 2 nights gone. So yeah, cherish it in the memories and pack up and head to Pokwe. But what a beautiful, beautiful spot.
The Gonarezhou National Park is a managed and co-management partnership established between the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority and the Frankfurt Zoological Society. Built on the back of a strong relationship developed over 9 years of support from the Frankfurt Zoological Society for Gonarezhou, the trust is directly responsible for the management of the park for 20 years and became fully operational on the 1st of March in 2017. This is a true conservation partnership. The park is managed on a day-to-day basis by the Gonarezhou Conservation Trust, a dedicated and professional team made up of employees from the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority, the Frankfurt Zoological Society, and the Gonarezhou Conservation Trust itself. The aim is to be a model for sustainable conservation in Africa. Ryan and I want to thank Callum and the Game Rangers Association, as well as these rangers, for their time and the stories they were able to tell. It's also a privilege to see that the Gym Green footwear is being put to good use. These rangers cover many kilometers over this tough terrain, and the Gym Green boot is the perfect fit. The Gonarezhou Rangers also take part in the World Ranger Challenge, and they've been top of their class for a few years running. We want to thank all wildlife conservationists, rangers, and especially the Game Ranger Association for their assistance and sacrifice in protecting Africa's wildlife. In order to put their boots to the test and prove their durability and ruggedness, Jim Green runs a Boots for Rangers program, where they donate boots to rangers in need across southern Africa. The team from Gonarezhou is one of the beneficiaries of this program, and they donate plus minus 3 pairs a day across southern Africa, which I think is amazing.
Right, so before we go to Pokwe, a lot of you ask what I do for navigation, especially inside Gonarezhou, and we use Tracks for Africa. So I use a combination of the paper maps, the atlas. They've got a nice big atlas that pretty much gives you all the info you need of all the southern African countries. And then while we are in the vehicles, I use a GPS, which has got the Tracks for Africa loaded on, the online Tracks for Africa loaded on. I update the version every year. Yeah, we're just gonna check how far it is to Pokwe on the, I think there's 2 or 3 different routes you can take. But where to, I've already pre-saved all these locations before we came here to Gonarezhou. And yeah, I'm gonna find Pokwe, should be in my saved places, or alternatively I can just search for it in the Tracks for Africa little application on the GPS. But I'm gonna go to saved. It was quite lucky as it also, now all the viewpoints and stuff around here, it gives me those. Pokwe exclusive campsite, go. And you'll see, it might take us back to Fissions and then over. It's going to take us on the western side of the Runde, which we don't really want to do. That's the one that we did to Chitove, and it was quite hectic. It says 39 kilometers, but this is on the western side. So we're going to go, I think, on the eastern side, Fissions to the Chilojo Cliffs viewpoint at the top, and then that way around to Pokwe. So yeah, it's been very good to navigate in Gonarezhou, no issues so far. Yeah, if you are navigating in southern Africa, I definitely recommend Tracks for Africa. Right, so we're about to leave the Chilojo campsite, unfortunately, but I just wanted to show you guys. So at the campsites that we've stayed at, so Directors, Chitove, Chilojo, and Pokwe, and Lisoda, I'm assuming, and quite a few of the other exclusive wilderness sites, there you have to be completely self-sufficient, meaning you got to bring your own water with you. There's no showers or proper ablution blocks, but there is a long drop at each of them. So let me show you guys. They're generally pretty good. They can smell, but as far as long drops go, they're some of the best that I've seen. You've got a nice little circular structure, and then there we go. Then at Chinguli, where we'll stay our last night, where we stayed quite a few nights ago, there are proper ablution blocks and running water, which is really lekker. There's no power or 220 power at each of the sites, obviously. It's super wild, which is how we like it. So you got to bring your own solar panels, etc, etc. So pretty much come to Gonarezhou completely self-sufficient. But at Chinguli and Chipinda pools, there are nice, very nice ablution blocks and running water. So maybe split it up that you do 4 or 5 nights at these wild exclusive campsites, and then 1 or 2 nights just to stock up on water and enjoy some nice bathrooms at either Chinguli or Chipinda.
We've crossed Fission's Causeway around 10 times on this adventure, but it's time for one more crossing, as we head for one final view of the Runde River Valley from the Chilojo Cliffs viewpoint.
stopping to check if everything's good. And Ryan,
how crazy is this? We just stopped to do some filming. There's a really well used animal path here, and there's lion spoor, and I tell you, big lion spoor. Check that out, Eddie.
4 kilometers left. Mopani flies our next level. What a road. But yeah, let's get to Pokwe.
Some of these ascents and descents in and out of these small riverbeds had some gnarly angles, but nothing that a high clearance 4x4 with low range wouldn't manage.
So it's pretty amazing. We've turned left off the main road. I think to what is, I'm not sure, a floodplain. It looks like a floodplain. It's wide open, by far the most wide open piece that we've seen in Gonarezhou so far. It looks very similar to Pofuri in Kruger, and we're driving across the floodplain now. That's why it's a little bit bumpy, where mud and elephant holes are, or were.
Well, I can definitely tell why this road would be closed during the rainy season.
Yeah, Ryan's just saying there that this road would definitely be closed. Let me show you guys. But just have a look at how stunning it is. We've got huge palm trees in an open area, hopefully full of wildlife. Pofuri area and Kruger very similar, but even more wide open, which is nice. Gonarezhou has a lot of dense bush, so it's nice to get into wide open floodplain like this and hopefully reap the rewards with wildlife. But stunning, man. Look at this.
With the temperature hitting 46 degrees Celsius, we close in on Pokware.
It's arrived here at Pokwe. Stunning campsite. Doesn't look like anyone's camped here in a very long time. Not really any evidence of a recent fire. And like I said, the dust that we entered into on this campsite is like Mahari Pan's dust times 1,000. So time to check if the bush lapa is dust proof. Hopefully it is, otherwise yeah, it's not going to be lekker. Oh yeah, dust proof. Happy days. Well done, bush lapa. The basics you got right.
A quick use of the Milwaukee blower to ensure no more dust gets sucked into the vehicles. We enjoy Pokware, where the Runde River is at its widest. There's definitely a reason why Gonarezhou is the place of elephants.
Pokwe. There's two little areas. The campsite's pretty heavily wooded up, so you don't have a clear view of the river, but there are two little points where you have a clear view. And Windhoek Draft, Runde River, and in the distance a huge herd of elephant. Gonarezhou, the place of elephants and many elephants. No truer word is spoken.
And those impalas are going off through, what do you reckon?
Yeah, they're going off quite far, but it could be leopard, maybe hyena. We are in really thick bush, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe later tonight we hear leopard barking, which would be pretty special.
Literally got a scops owl in the tree above us. The sound of the African bush at night. A little tiny little owl, scops owl. Magic, just magic. Wow.
With an amazing sunrise in the books, we take a drive towards the Mapungubwe Pan, hoping to see the predators we heard the evening before on the way. Just how incredible is this bush chorus and scenery?
What a stunning drive. It's like the S63 there near Pokwe on the way to the Luvuvu and Limpopo River confluence. The big trees, the open areas underneath, and plenty wildlife, to be honest. Impala, we saw a herd of eland there, wildebeest, jackal, but they are all very skittish. Some of them give you an opportunity to film for a second and then they run away. I don't know if they're not used to people. I don't think many people come up to this part of Gonarezhou. And also there's campsites here, but you don't ever have like hundreds of people here at a time. So I suppose it'll take time for the wildlife to get used to cars and people. But what a stunning drive with the light coming through these trees. It's not far from Pokwe to Mapungubwe Pan. I think it said 7 kilometers on the GPS. We're now 2.1 kilometers away, according to Tracks for Africa. And yeah, what a stunning drive. Hoping to get to see some wildlife at the pan, if there is water. You can definitely see this part of the park hasn't had the rainfall that the other parts have. But it's just stunning, eh? We're taking a drive around 10 kilometers an hour and just enjoying scenery. And hopefully find some cats. Plenty of spoor on the road, lion spoor, leopard spoor, hyena spoor, but they just remain elusive. We haven't really been on game drives. I think we've been on one, and yeah, the reason why is we've been enjoying the game viewing from our campsite. The game viewing from the campsites, because it's also dry, so everything comes to the river, is fantastic. So we haven't felt the need to drive, but we're driving today to see the pan.
I can only imagine that the Machiniwa Pan is a birder's paradise in the rainy season. Unfortunately, it was almost bone dry. So we went back towards the Runde River, where things were looking more promising.
Right, so we've reached the confluence of the Runde and the Save. I think there's one on the other side of the river, but we're on the eastern bank. Ooh, yeah, is it the eastern bank, southern bank? But it's stunning, eh? The Save and the Runde meeting, like at Mapungubwe where the Shashi and Limpopo meet. It's a stunning scene, and the rivers are flowing properly, eh? Have a look at that.
With a cook-up on the iCamper Disco in the Bellies, we headed towards the final crossing of the Runde that was accessible on our adventure, the Chamuluvati Causeway.
Right in front of us, and then there's a stake to the right, but if you look straight ahead there's a small stake out the water. I don't know how deep that is, but there's tracks actually leaving the river there. So it looks like you take this line, it looks like a sandbank pretty much throughout, and then there's two tracks, but no, I mean, people haven't done this for a long time. I think maybe like 2 or 3 days ago.
We head back to Pokwe campsite. Unfortunately, the Chamuluvati campsite was full, but on our next adventure, we'll definitely be staying here. We think this Chamuluvati and Pokwe area is a wildlife paradise, with incredible views, huge trees and open riverbeds. What a privilege. The bird and wildlife viewing we had from the Pokwe campsite was very special.
So we are going out for our official second game drive at Pokwe, and I'll tell you what, the sun is coming down and it's looking fantastic. We went to a pan this afternoon, and I reckon if we go back there, Ed, I reckon we're going to get some luck. The sun is beginning to set. It is now 4:46, so 4:45, and this bush, my man Ed, what is this? It reminds me of the Delta, dude. Maybe even Mana pools, bro.
I've never been to Mana, but I've been to Mapungubwe and people say it's the small Mana, similar bush. So it's, I mean, the bird life, I think this place has got to be like the best birding destination. I mean, we're not even here when the summer birds are here, but I think it's the best birding destination you'll find.
If you're a birder, then this, you have got to put this as a destination to come and see birds. And all you got to do is you got to just travel from west to east of the Runde River, stay at the campsites you get afforded, and I'll tell you guys, you will be so happy you did, because it is phenomenal. And I'm not just talking about tree bearing birds, I'm talking about river bearing birds.
And right away, it looked very promising. So we're here at the pan, and impalas are going off in the distance and all of them just scattered. So we're hoping that some predator is on its way down. But we got a warthog in front of us. There were impala and eland here when we arrived, but very skittish, unfortunately, because it would have made for some magic shots. Sun going down, bear behind this little pan, hardly any water, very dry, very dry, especially for this time of year. I think it's going to be a difficult dry season here in Gonarezhou and in much of Africa, I reckon. Coming to Gonarezhou with the mindset that a lot of people said you don't see any wildlife. That isn't necessarily true. You do see a lot of wildlife. It's a bit skittish because of obviously the poaching that has occurred in the past. It's a park in rehabilitation, so I think like Gonarezhou, those sort of places, this park is in the process of rehabilitation, and it's done really well. I don't know how long they've been at it for, but it's done really well. I think give it another 10. I'm no wildlife expert, but maybe in the next 10-15 years this place will be up there, because the terrain, the bird life, everything just suits a park that should thrive, and it looks like it's on the brink, maybe on the brink of thriving.
It's time to leave Pokwe and head to Lisoda camp, around an hour's drive away. Some challenging terrain with steep inclines and declines, but the Bush Larper and 100 series are in their element. We pull up to yet another masterpiece of a campsite, Lisoda Camp. so the light isn't great on the phone with the reverse camera. On point, pearl spotted owl going off in the tree above us, and we've just had our best sunset of Gonarezhou here at Lisoda camp. What a magnificent campsite. We had the African skimmer. I've got such a lacquer shot crossing the river here. The orange haze is covering the tree line with some baobabs scattered. The reflection of the orange in the water. Pearl spotted owl, scops owl, guinea fowl, Lisoda camp. What an absolute gem.
Hey, tonight is something a little bit different. We're gonna do a spaghetti bolognese, but we're gonna do it bush style. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and everything in between, I hope. Everything. I'll tell you what, I think it's a nice change. We've got spaghetti bolognese here, and I think it was a concerted effort to get this one done. And I'll tell you what, guys, this thing looks and tastes absolutely, it is magic.
Lions going off.
Yeah. We had lions, literally. We had lions. We reckon about 2.5 km that way on the other side of the river.
We once again sat in our camping chairs and enjoyed Gonarezhou's wildlife from our campsite.
Finally getting some weight off the roof, organizing the wood and putting 60 liters, I don't know if she'll take 60, but putting 60 liters of diesel in to alleviate the weight on the roof. Not that it's been bad at all. With the new suspension, the car's handling really well. There's not much body roll at all, so but there's no point in carrying it on the roof. when you can empty it into the tank. So yeah, it's not a nice job because you get full of diesel, but yeah, part and parcel really. Gonna do this before I shower. Right, so what I thought I'd also do is just take you guys for a walk around the campsite. For those of you that aren't interested in the gear we're using or how we camp, maybe skip forward another 3 minutes, but let me take you through how we've set up, mostly at every campsite on this trip, but some of the 1 or 2 nighters we haven't set everything up like we have here. But yeah, let me take you for a walk through. The car with the shower cubicle, I've got that amazing shower cubicle on the Bush Larper, but it is a big item. So I've got the Easy One Cube, shower cubicle out for the showers. The LC100 is parked there, spade, ready for the fire. Then the Bush Larper, I've got the big, I think it's a medium-sized L-shaped sea gear down. Unfortunately, this campsite is riddled with paper thorns. So yeah, paper thorns everywhere. And this is how we mostly set up. I've got my EcoFlow Delta 2 here to charge up batteries. Luckily the Larper's batteries are full today because of the sun. We poured a nice gin and tonic. All the cameras and torches and stuff are charging. Here we got our Starlink router connected in there to the inverter. We are using Starlink on this trip to stay connected. Brilliant device, absolutely fantastic. And today we charged up everything. So yeah, Starlink does use quite a bit of power, but we turn it on and off when we need it. Up here I got my 2 Milwaukee lights. I normally, because the Bush Larper is also stainless steel, they're magnetic. How cool is that? So I can move them around at night. And these little, I think they're Lumino, also a great item, but I stick on the awning. I got the 270-degree awning set up. Even though this campsite's mostly shady, we still have to do our washing up. Now, to conserve water, we wash up once a day. So we leave everything in there and then wash up once a day. I still have like more than half a tank. And tomorrow we go to a campsite where there is water. So we've done really well on the water. With regards to the EcoFlow Delta 2, it's always good to have backup of a backup of a backup. So that item also allows me to run my coffee machine, any high draw items, because I think it's got nearly a 2000 watt inverter in it. So yeah, it's a proper backup. And then inside the Larper, you go inside, there's the Starlink bag, sleeping bags and stuff, which we didn't need because it's so hot. This is my view out the Larper, that side and that side, which is really lacquer. And then a little game changer on this trip, I always used to have these little 12-volt fans, but you had to connect them to power. But how cool is this? I got a Milwaukee fan, and what's really nice with this is it runs off the 12-volt batteries, which are super quick to charge in the charging unit, and it's also magnetic. Check here, proper magnetic. So I stick it on the roof of the Larper and I can adjust exactly where I want the fan blowing. Like I said earlier, the battery, the 4 amp one, on the setting 1 on the fan, which is more than enough, it's a super powerful fan, lasts the whole night and you've only dropped 2 bars of battery. Now this is an iCamper, I think they call it a trash caddy. I've used some bin bags before. Normally you can only put 1, maximum 2 bags of rubbish in the bin bag, which is fine for 1 or 2 days. But when you're out here for 8 days where you've got nowhere to dump your rubbish, and we are not those people that litter, seriously guys, look after the campsites, you can fit 4 full bags of rubbish in here. Yeah, it's super full now. But what's also quite cool is it's got this little zip down the side, so I can keep my rubbish bags actually inside the trash caddy, which is lacquer. I've got the front runner bri grid on there. Got some pockets down the side if you want to put fire lighters or something. This is the room of the Larper, the side room. Geyser, also working really well. Got some food storage in there, kept out of the baboon's reach. And yeah, the 100 series is here. What's really cool is I've put my 1.5 by 1.5 sea gear under the shower, so when I shower there's no paper thorns and stuff, and the mud doesn't come through. So that ground sheet and the big L shape there work really well. And yeah, super chuffed with the Bush Larper. Everything that's working perfectly. And what a luxurious, nice way to live out here. A lot of you guys always ask why the trailer and stuff. Well, I don't have a double cab bucky, so I don't have a geyser, I don't have a big water tank, I don't have all that stuff in the car. And yes, I can fit it in there, but the car is also my daily driver, so I don't want to drive around Joburg with all that stuff on. Just doesn't work for me. So yeah, the trailer, towing it, fantastic thing to tow. And on a 20-day trip like this, I don't have to restock. I took everything: drinks, food, wood, fuel, water, everything. Haven't run out. So And there's the good old Starlink, allowing us to keep in contact with you legends. And I think these Gonarezhou episodes are going to be epic.
Time for one more amazing evening at Lisoda campsite. The lions we had heard the previous evening were close, and our trail cam in the campsite caught a glimpse of a lioness hanging around.
Yeah, that's close. That's like. I'm not even joking, dude. You see where
We were literally just saying that we haven't heard any lion last night. Well, not close. And then this male just went off right now, right here. Come on.
That's not far. That's not
Hopefully
far.
moves. He's there by those vultures, by that kudu, bro. I'm telling you.
reckon?
Yeah.
The feeling Ryan and I really dislike the most is starting to set in as we head back towards Chipinda Pools, with our destination being the stunning Chinguli campsite. Set amongst enormous granite cliffs with rushing water and some of Gonarezhou's peaceful giants nearby. Our final evening in Zimbabwe. We just don't want to leave.
What a magical setting here at Chinguli, overlooking the rocks, elephant right by camp. Let's get a nice fire going. Final evening in Gonarezhou. What a pity.
Another hard day in Africa, as many would say. Just lekker to be here at Chinguli Campsite. And I'll tell you what a lekker day. We rolled out of Lisoda campsite at about 1:45 in the afternoon, and we pulled in here at about 3 o'clock, 3:30. And it's a scorcher, an absolute tanker of a day. I think it's got a lot to do with the granite boulders here. Ed and I are suffering. We're running our head under a tap every half an hour, but not to complain. Magic fire that Ed made, moon rising just above the Chilojo Cliffs, and it's simply fantastic. We've got 4 elephant moving in amongst the rocks. Believe it or not, these guys are agile. I tell you, you've never seen it and you wouldn't believe it. And we've got about 4 of them. So yeah, I think a lekker last night. A great way to roll on out of Gonarezhou National Park on the eastern side of Zimbabwe. Bittersweet for both Ed and I. We're gonna miss this place, man. It's been an absolutely spectacular 22 days here in Gonarezhou, and great memories, man. Absolutely fantastic adventure, great memories with good mates and my best mate, and just absolutely enjoying our last night.
It's hot, guys. It's hot, guys. Here in Gonarezhou, it's hot. Stay hydrated.
The sound of water making its way through the rocks, hippos nearby, and an evening moonrise to remember. Wow. Our final river crossing is the Chipinda Causeway, which was also our second river crossing around 18 days ago on this epic Zimbabwe adventure.
Unfortunate reality of having to go home. pump up the tires because we're going to hit tar roads not long from now. So using the Indiflate in combination with the compressor. Yeah, sad, to be honest. Never been so sad to leave a place. Yeah. Anyways, left quite a bit for the next trip here, I reckon. The south, a couple of the transit camps, so yeah. But sad.
The Beitbridge border post was one to forget. Make sure you aren't in a rush. I was unfortunately forced to pay around 1,000 Rand extra to get through, as we were in a rush to Mapungubwe, but it didn't leave a bitter taste, as it's just a few people that ruin it for everyone, as usual.
So, got some wood, got some supplies, and we're on the Denstart Road. The steadies are on, spotlights, checking out for elephant, lion. We've seen plenty on this road in the past. And yeah, arriving at another campsite late at night, but that's okay. It's been a day, it's been an absolute day, but the light, we had an incredible sunset, and the light in front of me now is just stunning. This is orange light over the hills of Mapungubwe. This Denstart Road is fantastic, but there's a little piece in the center that's quite washed away. Nothing to worry about with these vehicles, but Joel just told us that he's a bit worried about the trailer now, because this year it's apparently very bad. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge, or not the bridge, but the axle twister when we get there. But yeah, another fantastic day on the road.
It's always a pleasure staying at the relaxing and peaceful Mazah campsite.
So another about 400 gigs on the Canon and 128 on the GoPro, and I don't know how much on the phone, but yeah, those are the gigs that have to be unloaded because all the memory cards are finished. So yeah, time to dump some footage onto the Lacy Ruggeds, open up those cameras for hopefully some magic on this afternoon's game drive. And yeah, I'm filming a walk around of the Bush Larper, which will be out before we go on this trip. Right, so we're having an absolute charge fest there at the trailer, and footage dump fest, dumping all the footage pretty much from the trip on the drone, GoPro, etc. But there's elephant moving. Okay, maybe it's outside the camp. They do come inside the camp, but maybe outside the camp. Here at Mazah, a nice big herd of ellies. So just taking a walk to the fence to get some shots of them. The wildlife here at Mazah is absolutely incredible. Bird life. We've got warthog, bushbuck, franklin, Aramark babblers, crested barbets, fish eagles, vultures, starlings, everything just in the camp. So fantastic. We're about to go for a game drive once all the footage is dumped, but let's have a look at these ellies. Right, so on our afternoon game drive here along the Limpopo River, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Bush is very thick on the bush front, but not on the grass front. So yeah, I reckon it's going to be a dry season, but still lekker to see the Limpopo River with so much water in it. I don't know if there was rainfall further up country, but yeah, we're taking a drive here and then we're going to make our way to the Maluchwa hide.
As usual, the Maluchwa hide didn't disappoint. Right, so a lot of you guys asked me what I do about mosquitoes. Now, medication wise, I'm not going to give any advice. You need to speak to your local GP about what medication to take. That I'm not going to give advice on, but what I can say is I also use a prevention cream. There's sprays, there's creams, but the one that I use is from a company called Boss. Now, lovely company owned by Rina. This is a cream to apply
to your body, obviously, to prevent the mosquitoes. It works really well. But it's not only a cream. They've got a shower gel, comes in a nice pack. Got a shower gel and even suntan lotion. So yeah, it's more sports. I'll put the details in the description below. Check it out, order yourself a pack before you're coming up here or anywhere really, and prevent getting bitten by those mozzies. So it's time to apply it and sit around the fire. Tell us. There's an elephant inside Mazah. Here, inside the camp. We've seen they can just walk. The fence is not operating, but they can just walk through the main gate. Impalas have done it. But yeah, so walk past the ranger and now the bush larper there in the distance. But inside camp, elephant through camp. It's like being in the delta. What a send-off from Mapungubwe.
Our final day of our adventure, and what better way to say goodbye than on the same river where the adventure started. A spot that I've been to on many adventures before, and I'll never get tired of. The confluence of the Limpopo and the Shashi River.
Right, so it's the end of the trip. The last day of 23 days, and what an adventure. From crossing the Limpopo to driving into Gonarezhou pretty much in the middle of the night, camping at Pokware Pan with legends Ben, Heinrich, Daryl, Gerry, Chris and Ryan. Then everyone left after we spent a night at Chinguli. Everyone else except Ryan and I extended the trip by I think another 14 days in Gonarezhou, or 11 days in Gonarezhou and 3 days here at Mapungubwe. And it's gonna go down as one of the best trips I've ever done. Zimbabwe and Gonarezhou, the people of Zimbabwe, I didn't go far into Zimbabwe, but the people of Zimbabwe, friendly, helpful, fantastic, welcoming. The cops on the roads, thank you for visiting Zimbabwe, have a safe journey, thank you for our time together, no hassles. So it's absolutely fantastic. Gonarezhou, if there was such a rating as 100 out of 10, and expensive is the wrong word, expensive is a negative term. I think use the thing pricey but worth it. It is pricey, but it is worth every cent. Even twice the amount, it would be worth it. What a wild, adventurous place. The most beautiful campsites I've ever stayed in. We saw wildlife. I think it'll take time for the wildlife to get used to people, but it's certainly a place that's got wildlife, especially elephants. The place of elephants, it's got plenty elephants. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to the main sponsors of this adventure: Sereth Logistics, Jim Green Footwear, Tackler Products, Opposite Lock, Indiflate, Geolander, and Tracks for Africa. Thank you. And to my Patreons, also a massive thank you. These trips would not be possible without you. To my mate Ryan, thanks for an awesome adventure. It's been fantastic. To everyone that joined us in the first 7 days, legends, all of you. And yeah, the vehicle and the trailer, fantastic. I was worried about the bush larper because I've never used it out here in the bush. What an amazing item. What an amazing item. And it's been a pleasure to live out of it for 23 days. And the vehicle as well, no issues, which is always great news. The new suspension is fantastic, and overall just nice not to have many hassles and breakages when we go back, But yeah, I want to thank you guys for watching this series. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think the next one in Zimbabwe is up to Mana Pools. We're going to head up to Mana Pools, maybe Matusa Dona, Kariba, in October of this year, 2024. 2024 is going to be a good one, guys. And thank you everyone for your support. And until the next adventure, cheers.